More product knowledge education does not sell more product, and today I'm going to show you what does. Okay, to kick off this conversation, I want to talk about the traditional way of thinking in our industry, and here it is. We need to educate people on our products. We need to educate our own people. We need to educate the distributor people. We need to pursue different levels of product certification, product knowledge certification. Most brands think that if they can just educate more, right, provide more education to the salespeople, both your own and distributors, that the sales will follow. Now, this seems really logical, and I will admit there's a certain level of product knowledge that all salespeople need to have to be an effective salesperson. But here's the thing, it's not enough. You shouldn't expect that because people have this knowledge, this education, that the sales are going to follow. This is a very misguided way of seeing the role that education plays in wine and spirit sales. It seems logical, but in reality, it's quite misguided. So why do people do it? Why do so many people focus on education as the primary thing you need to do to move the needle on sales? Well, because it feels productive. I mean, there's a lot of things in our industry that are beyond your control, but educating your people is 100% within your control. So you lean into it. It feels like the right thing to do. And there's a logical part of your brain that thinks, well, if they just knew more about the product, they would want it more. So I get this. It's natural human nature. And that's why so many people do it. Also, it's kind of the way things have always been done in our industry. I started in this business in 1984. And the people were training on product knowledge then and category knowledge, and they're doing it today. I think the reason that people do it is because they think it's essential, and it is. It's essential, but it's not enough. So we can certainly understand why people emphasize product knowledge, but it is a problem. And let's get into the but. It's a pretty big but, so hang with me. You see, the market doesn't reward knowledge. It doesn't reward product knowledge. What it rewards is execution. So education without execution is kind of a waste of time. Most people don't spend nearly as much time and energy focusing on how to execute from the sales side. They put too much energy on education. And whenever I talk to clients about their sales efforts, their sales training, right, they consider product knowledge sales training. I do not. I don't think that product knowledge is part of sales training. It's essential and compulsory to be a salesperson, but it isn't training. If you want to consider what is sales training, that's a whole different ball of wax. So this is why I say that product knowledge does not sell more product. Let me tell you a quick story. I recently had a client who came to me and they were convinced their problem was education. They said to me, our distributor salespeople, they aren't selling a lot of our products, and we think that they need more knowledge of our products. So we're going to provide that education to them. Well, that's fine. You should do that. At the very least, make it available to them on a self-serve basis. But don't go thinking that's going to move the needle on sales, because it won't. So instead, I showed them how they needed to tighten their focus. They needed to go deeper with fewer accounts. And because they did this, the sales began to grow immediately. The funny thing about wine sales and spirit sales is the more you narrow your focus to the most attractive and responsive accounts, the greater your sales acceleration will be. I have many stories like this. So let's talk about execution. Since product knowledge and education isn't what moves the needle on sales, and execution is, let's talk about execution. So the first thing is you need to know exactly which accounts matter most for your brand, for your product. That takes some research, but it's worth that research, because if you try to be all things to all people, you'll end up being nothing to everyone. If you try to get into lots and lots of accounts, for example, you're not going to be as effective than if you take a step back and decide who should we really be targeting, who should we really be focusing on. You also have to learn how to matter more to these people. And now this is a new way of thinking for a lot of people. You're telling me that I should call on fewer accounts, but better, well-chosen accounts? Yes. But you also have to know how to mean more to them. And this takes some training. It takes a shift in the perspective of how you sell. You see, the key to accelerating sales is to narrow the focus, not to expand it. More accounts does not equal more sales. More states don't equal more sales. Here's what matters: mattering more to fewer people. So think of it this way: less is more. You want a strategy that is narrow and deep instead of wide and thin, because depth beats width every single time. When I talk about execution, I'm talking about having a clear list of accounts that you want to focus on, well researched to know they're the right accounts, they're perfect for your product, they're capable of delivering the volume that you so desperately need, and you need to double down on the time that you spend with them. Don't try to chase more points of distribution, more accounts sold in more states. That's a losing strategy. It probably used to work when there weren't so many brands, but now there's so many brands that you can't possibly use the wide and thin model anymore. Now, I want to help you on your journey to understanding how less is more and going deep is the answer. I want to offer you my free guide called The Power of Going Deep. It's free. You can download it by clicking a link in the description. And here's what's in the guide. It's going to show you why the mile-wide, inch-deep philosophy is so effective. It's also going to show you what it looks like and how to do it. It's a very practical guide. I'm also going to share in this guide the 5 hidden wins of depth. If you pursue depth in the way I'm explaining, you're going to immediately get 5 benefits, and I spell out what those are in the guide. And lastly, the guide will show you what is the ROI of going deep. What's the payoff for having a disciplined approach to the territory by going narrow and deep instead of wide and thin. So I want you to grab my free guide. Just click the link in the description. Check it out. So just to wrap up this video, I just want to help you make this mental shift, okay? It's okay to educate people on your products. That's fine. But don't expect it to move the needle on sales. Education doesn't sell more product. Execution does. And the key to execution is narrowing your focus. Inch wide, mile deep beats width every single time. If you have questions or are struggling, leave those questions in the comments. I read all the comments, I answer them all. And please, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe, as I'm creating new videos like this all the time, and you'll get alerted. Thank you very much for watching.